Release your worries to God, for we aren't made to carry the weight of the world alone. Life will have times that shake us. The state of things around us, personal pain, or challenges in our relationships. These moments feel heavy, but they aren't pointless. They're the moments that shape our hearts, deepen our faith, and reveal more about who we're called to be. Each struggle carries a lesson. Each trial holds a purpose. Trust your troubles to the Lord, because He doesn't waste any hardship. He uses them to strengthen you, to guide you, and to bring you closer to His plan. Take a few weeks to simply watch your life. See which moments make you feel truly alive, when your heart seems pulled in a certain direction. This pull is the quiet voice of God leading you toward His purpose for you. One of the greatest lessons we can learn is how to live more fully in His presence, to pause and let Him draw us back to Himself. To do this, start looking at yourself with fresh eyes, as if you're meeting the person God created you to be for the first time. You may think you know yourself, but there is always more that God wants to reveal. There is a greater purpose in each of us, a part of our identity in Christ that we've only begun to understand. Each one of us is carefully and purposefully shaped by God's own hands, uniquely gifted and set apart for a reason only He fully understands. Sometimes you may feel as though you're different, drawn to things others overlook or moved by ideas others don't quite feel in the same way. But this distinctiveness isn't random. It's a mark of God's own creativity placed in you. Instead of shrinking from it, lean into it. Ask God to help you understand what makes your heart beat a little faster, what fills you with purpose, and what brings you closer to His presence. As you reflect, take a moment to ask, Lord, when am I most aligned with your heart, and what am I doing when I feel that way? Think of this as a journey, a gentle exploration of where God's purpose is quietly calling you. And don't rush it. Spend a few weeks or even a month listening, praying, and considering what He may be inviting you into. Picture your life 5 years from now, not with human ambition, but with a humble, prayerful heart. Imagine where God might take you, where He might ask you to serve, and how He might unfold His plan within you. God has placed certain desires in your heart for a reason. These desires, when aligned with Him, can lead you to a future blessed with purpose and fulfillment. He promises to give us the desires of our hearts if we first find our joy in Him. So to move toward that future, seek His voice through prayer, through moments of quiet, and in His Word. Take time to pray and envision your life as God intends it, as a journey with Him by your side. What does your life look like when you're living fully in His purpose, when you're receiving His blessings and walking in His favor? Write down the thoughts, hopes, and dreams that rise up in your heart, letting the Holy Spirit speak through them. Don't worry about having it all figured out. This is about giving God the space to shape your vision, trusting that He'll make clear the steps that are yours to take. If you let those lingering bad habits and unwise choices keep a grip on your life, where could you honestly find yourself in 5 years? It's a question we sometimes avoid, but it matters because it paints a picture of what to step away from, just as much as what to step toward. Thinking about the destination we don't want keeps us from slipping onto paths that lead nowhere good. But now, let's flip that image. What if your relationship with God was rich and growing? What if you poured into it every day like a friend you couldn't imagine losing? Picture the peace and strength you'd have, the unshakable trust and guidance lighting your way. And imagine if your friendships lifted you up and kept you steady, filled with the kindness, honesty, and support you've always hoped for. What would those relationships look like? Or think about your goals, like your education, the wisdom you're trying to gain. What if every step you took was driven by a sense of divine purpose? You wouldn't just be studying or learning for a diploma or job. You'd be moving in the direction that was meant for you, learning with a fire in your heart. And picture your work, whether it's what you do now or something different. What if it used every gift you've been given, filling you with purpose because it was aligned with God's plan for you? Imagine the satisfaction, the deep sense that every effort, big or small, was worth it. How would you spend your time outside of work, finding joy and honoring God in the simple daily choices you make? When we picture a life led by faith, even just for a moment, it opens our eyes to what's possible and reminds us of the worth of every step forward. How can you take care of yourself inside and out so that you stay strong and ready for all God has for you? And as you grow, how can you serve those around you, bringing hope and strength to your family and community? To truly thrive as you walk with Christ, you need a vision that goes beyond just what you want or what you feel able to do. It's a vision that comes from God and connects you to His purpose. This isn't about reaching for something distant or abstract. It's about drawing close to God, seeking Him genuinely, and bringing your deepest hopes and struggles before Him in prayer. Ask God to show you His purpose for your life, knowing that His plans go beyond what you could ever imagine. Think of how much you want to see the people you love grow and succeed. That desire you have to see them happy, strong, and fulfilled. God's love for you is even greater than that, and His hope for your life goes even further. He truly wants you to grow and live fully. So take heart and dare to believe that you matter to God, that He values you, and that He has a purpose for you that is rich and meaningful. Trust that it's not just okay, but right to dream big and seek the best He has for you. Let the vision He gives you lead you into the full life He's promised, a life filled with purpose, courage, and hope. Have you ever paused to wonder what God has in store for your life? Picture it, a life shaped not by chance or mere routine, but by a purpose that God Himself has crafted with you in mind. Taking the time to ask for His guidance, to listen closely, isn't just a passing thought. It's like a quiet, soul-deep conversation with your Creator. When you seek Him genuinely, you're inviting His wisdom into your life, letting Him reveal what's best for you. Maybe you're at a point where your job feels like a weight on your heart, a place where each day feels harder to get through. That's no accident. It could be God gently calling you toward something new. Pay attention to that feeling and don't ignore it. Begin the process even if it feels overwhelming. Update that resume. Prepare yourself for interviews. This might be your turning point, the first step to a new life, one that doesn't just pay the bills but brings real joy and fulfillment. You don't need a long list of victories. Sometimes one genuine breakthrough is enough to turn everything around. God could be leading you to a job where your spirit is refreshed, where you feel alive, where the people around you bring out your best. Imagine waking up each morning not with a sense of dread, but with excitement, knowing you're where He wants you to be. When you follow God's lead, you're saying yes to the life He intended for you, the life that truly honors the person He created you to be. But if you ignore His voice, you risk settling for less, living with the quiet ache of knowing you're not where you're meant to be. So don't hold back. Let His guidance be your compass and walk with confidence into the future He's laid out just for you. When you're standing on the edge of uncertainty at work, maybe questioning where you belong, know that God's hand is already in your story. Even if your job feels shaky, this may be part of a bigger shift He's preparing for you. Start taking steps to seek new doors. He might be opening. Pray for wisdom and direction to find a role that resonates with His vision for your life. Equip yourself not just with skills, but with a spirit of courage. Bring your concerns to Him first. Then, if it feels right, share them openly with those in authority, letting your words carry both grace and conviction. True strength is born from knowing your worth and trusting that even uncomfortable conversations can lead to growth. Sometimes the blessings that shape us most come wrapped in change we didn't plan for. Maybe this job, this place you've poured so much into, was never meant to be the final destination. And yes, the thought of stepping into the unknown is daunting. But think of this. Which fear is stronger? The fear of moving towards something new, or the fear of staying where your spirit feels stifled, where each day pulls a little more from your peace, resilience, and joy? Life brings risks, no matter the direction. We fear the leap, yet staying still can carry an even greater cost. Weigh both sides carefully, knowing that faith isn't about the absence of fear. It's about trusting in the one who guides us beyond it. God doesn't call us to see every step. He calls us to trust that He holds each one and to believe He'll lead us to exactly where we're meant to be. I've seen so many people find their way to a deeper purpose after wrestling with seasons of doubt and disappointment. It's like the journey of the Israelites, lost in the wilderness for 40 years, pressing forward even when the destination felt out of reach. But in the end, they made it to the land that was meant for them, and their struggles were not wasted. Just like that, whatever you're facing now, whatever feels like a door slammed shut, is not the end of your story. Rejection, whether from a job, a relationship, or an opportunity, can cut deeply, leaving us wondering if we're somehow not enough. But let's look at it from a different angle. God sees the full picture that we cannot. When He allows something to pass us by, it's because He's guiding us toward what's truly meant for us. Every no we encounter isn't just an obstacle. It's a step in God's direction, nudging us closer to a yes that fits us perfectly. In a world that feels cold and uncaring, it's easy to lose hope. But remember, each closed door is not a rejection of you. It's a part of the journey that God is leading you through, step by step. So hold tightly to your faith, lean on it even when it's hard, because God's timing is flawless. He hasn't forgotten you and is leading you to a place that is right for you. As you continue, strengthen yourself in the Spirit. Spend time in prayer and surround yourself with people who share your faith and vision. You don't have to do this alone. There is a whole community ready to support you, pray for you, and walk alongside you as you follow the path that God has set before you. Trust in His plan and know that every struggle has its purpose. Think of the gifts and skills God has given you, not by chance, but with purpose. This could be the moment to sharpen those abilities and bring your best to whatever you put your hands to, not only to open new doors, but to find the true, satisfying paths God has prepared for you. There is no shame in aiming high, in giving your best. It's a way of honoring the one who created you. Standing strong against the darkness around us means being free to make the right choices, even when they're hard. So there's a duty, a calling to build yourself up in strength, not for yourself alone, but to live and act in ways that reflect God's goodness. Take a close look at the challenges ahead, and don't walk that path alone. Talk openly with those around you who will be impacted by your choices, always asking God for clarity and wisdom. Be mindful of where God truly wants you to be. Staying where you don't belong, where He hasn't placed you, can quietly wear down your spirit over the years. It's not the life Christ came to give us, and the emptiness that comes with it can make each day feel like a struggle. That's not the purpose He has for you. It's a weight, a weariness that will only hold you back from the fullness He's promised. When we lose sight of God's purpose for us, we can find ourselves just waiting for the next day to end, exhausted and feeling like life itself is slipping through our hands. But God designed life with more in mind for you than simply getting through it. His desire is to fill your days with hope and meaning that go far beyond survival. He has a vision for you that's alive with purpose. Walking with Christ doesn't mean we won't face moments where choices feel unbearably heavy. There will be days when you feel like you're standing at a crossroads, unsure of where to go. In those moments, sometimes the hardest decision is actually the one that frees you. Making a choice, even a difficult one, can be a step of faith. Delaying only prolongs the ache, but when you step forward with God, even small steps hold power. Think of times when you've tried for something over and over again, filling out application after application, and facing silence or rejection at every turn. The discouragement is real, and the waiting feels endless. But don't lose heart. You don't need everyone's approval. Just one yes from God is enough to shift the course of your life. His timing, even if we can't see it, always holds more for us than our own plans could ever bring. Remember, a few years of leaning on God, of allowing hope to be greater than discouragement, are worth far more than a lifetime spent feeling trapped. Trust that He sees your struggles, that He's working in the background even in seasons that feel slow or stagnant. Stay close to Him, stay faithful, and watch as He transforms every trial into a story of strength. His plan for you is real, and it's leading you to something greater than you could ever imagine. Let's get real. It's not just about hating your alarm clock or dreading that long commute in the early hours. It's not only about the irritation that comes when you're asked to do the jobs nobody sees or applauds, like taking out the trash, scrubbing floors, or wiping down counters. These small tasks might feel like a hassle, but they're chances to serve with a heart like Christ. Every little action, when done in love, becomes a reflection of Him. It's in these moments, in the unseen and uncelebrated, that His presence shines through you. When we come up against these humble tasks, it's easy to feel annoyed or even a little bitter. That frustration often stems from a struggle with gratitude, an impatience with small beginnings, and a resistance to embracing the role of a servant. But each of these moments is a reminder of Jesus' own humility. By choosing gratitude and taking joy in even the smallest acts of service, we're invited to mirror His love and grace in everything we do. When we ignore that quiet but clear voice within us, we're not just resisting a nudge, we're wrestling against the peace that our soul longs for. This isn't about merely feeling stuck or unsettled in life. It's a deeper struggle, one that touches the core of who we are and who God calls us to be. When we turn away from what we know is right, it's like letting go of the truest parts of ourselves, drifting from God's purpose for us, and moving toward a place that leaves us empty. This choice often leads us into actions that drain our energy, shift our priorities, and can lead us to treat others in ways that aren't fair or kind. We might find ourselves slowly losing the honesty we once held dear, compromising our future, and creating heartache that could have been avoided. Meanwhile, we watch others go through their own struggles, but because of our own state, we may feel helpless to reach out, knowing that our lives aren't in a place to give genuine support. Choosing to turn away from what's right is like turning away from God's own light, willingly walking into shadows where truth is exchanged for comfort. And with each step, we're accepting to live in a way that stands against the values Jesus taught us: love, kindness, honesty, and compassion. This path leads to a troubled heart and a restless spirit, not because our intentions weren't good, but because the choices we made went against the quiet guidance God placed within us. So let's stay true to what we know is right, not out of habit or obligation, but because our souls were made for this. Let our choices reflect a heart that seeks peace and a life that draws others closer to God's light. Take a moment to let these thoughts settle in your heart and trust that your journey has meaning beyond what you can see. Life's trials, the hopes, the dreams, and even the disappointments are all part of God's tender guidance, shaping you into the person He designed you to be. Each small, faithful step draws you closer to His vision for your life, where peace replaces anxiety and purpose shines through every corner of your soul. Now I invite you to pause and pray with me. Let's lift up our hearts to God, seeking His guidance and asking for the courage to embrace each part of our journey with faith. Thank you for taking this time to reflect, to hope, and to believe that you are deeply valued and wonderfully made. Gracious Father, I come before you carrying a heart weary with the struggles and worries that life has laid upon me. I long for the comfort of your embrace, the gentle assurance that all my cares are safe with you. You know each weight I carry, the anxieties that linger, the battles that go unseen, the fears that echo within, and so I bring them to you, trusting in the strength of your mighty shoulders. Help me, Lord, to truly release these burdens, to open my hands and let go, knowing that in your hands all things take on a purpose far greater than I could ever imagine. Teach me, Lord, to see each challenge as a stepping stone, not a stumbling block, to a deeper trust and a refined faith. Help me understand that these trials are not just random events, but are tools you use to mold me, to shape me, to guide me toward the person you have lovingly envisioned. Give me eyes to see growth hidden within my pain, resilience in the midst of hardship, and peace in surrender. Let me look beyond the surface of my struggles and see the ways you are shaping my soul, drawing me ever closer to you. Lord, I ask for clarity to understand the whispers of your Spirit in the stillness, to recognize those subtle nudges that remind me of my purpose. Lead me to those quiet places where I feel most alive, most in tune with the path you've set for me. Help me to find comfort in the moments of silence, where your voice gently calls me, urging me to pay attention to what truly matters, to see glimpses of the life you have called me to live. Father, help me to see myself through your eyes. Free me from the doubts that hold me back, from the limits I place upon myself, and help me embrace the person you lovingly created. Remind me that I am a unique expression of your boundless creativity, and that every part of me has a purpose. Where I see weakness, let me find your strength. Where I see flaws, let me see your grace flowing through me. Align my heart, my desires, my dreams with your will, so that what I seek is not the passing pursuits of this world, but the eternal joy that comes from following your call. Grant me wisdom to care for the body and spirit you have entrusted to me, knowing that when I am whole, I can serve you fully. Surround me with friends and family who reflect your love, who encourage my faith, and who remind me of your goodness when I am weary. Let me find strength in the love of others and the courage to be a source of strength for them as well. Show me the beauty of a life lived in community where we uplift each other and walk this journey together in faith. Lord, give me the courage to release what no longer serves your purpose for me. Help me step out of my comfort zone to move beyond merely surviving and to seek the fullness of life you have planned for me. Guide me away from empty places, from paths that do not lead to you, and let me follow the roles and purposes where your joy and presence are felt most deeply. Remind me that closed doors are not setbacks, but your way of protecting me, of steering me towards something greater than I could envision. In moments of waiting, grant me patience. In times of uncertainty, give me faith. In all things, let me trust that your plans are good, even when I cannot see the way. Lord, may I find joy in the little things, in small acts of love that go unseen. Let me serve with a heart like yours, giving freely not for recognition, but simply to reflect your compassion to the world around me. When I am tempted to choose comfort over commitment, remind me of your truth. Strengthen me to walk in your ways, even when the road is hard, knowing that your path always leads to peace. May my life be a gentle light, a reflection of your love, kindness, and grace that speaks of you to those around me. As I place my past, my present, and my future in your loving hands, let my life become a testimony to your faithfulness. May others see the beauty of your hand at work in my story and find encouragement to seek you in their own. for every answered prayer, for every hardship overcome, for every blessing yet to come. I thank you. In your arms I find rest, hope, and the courage to journey on. Amen.